All right, let's see. What do I gotta do? Where do I gotta go? Is there more of a location there than I realized? I don't think so. Oh, yawn. Nope, there's no more over here. I love this skybox though. Look at that JPEG background. Oh my god. That's beautiful. It's amazing. I love it. We just got to figure out where to go. They had to make both versions skyboxes because the original game didn't have one. That's funny. I didn't realize that. Okay, but like for real? Where the heck am I supposed to go? Up? Is it just up? No, certainly not. Where the hell am I supposed to go? I heard someone say something earlier, but... Is it just over here? Is there like a spot over here to go? No? Nope. I need to like look around at the environment. Okay. If I can somehow get... Oh, I see. Okay. There we go.
While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance.
Whoa, he has a launcher. Hell yeah, Raziel.
Die, fiend.
This game is very PS2. Is that supposed to be a vampire or is it just a regular person? They don't look like a vampire to me. I guess they have pointed ears. Vampire enough. Vampire coded. Whoa! That went right over my head. I didn't know what that was at first. Alright. I guess if this takes place during the vampire purges, like, it would be, what, 30 years technically before the end of Blood Omen? Something like that. 50 years right before the start of Blood Omen, something like that. Soul is stored in the brain, yes, Roshan, that is correct. What are all of these, like, little soul creatures? I also want to know what all these pots are just sitting around. I don't remember this. I genuinely don't remember this game opening up this way. I have played this game before, much like the original Soul Reaver. Granted, I don't think I ever beat the original Soul Reaver. I know for a fact I've beaten this game. But I do not remember this being what this game was like at all. I will say, this music rules. This is like super weird, like Akira Ghost in the Shell music.
Seize him.
These weird, like, chime sounds. I don't know what these are called. Glockenspiel? No. Kalimba? Kalimba, I think. I think that's what that instrument is. They put a fucking axe on that dog's head. That water texture is fun. I love it. Ugh, I love the way this game looks. Like, this is, to me, the platonic ideal of what video games should look like. Like, I personally don't need any better than this. I do love high quality graphics, but just give me this. Just make banger games that look like this, and I'm down forever. God, this like cacophonous music rules so hard.
These vampires had nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seemed to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Even though I believe in genocide just a little bit, this was going too far. All right, Raziel, maybe chill out a little bit. Oh, I have to hold X? Darn it. The music so far in this is so great.
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me? Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nupraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nupraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of the circle, then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice. What makes you exempt, Kain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we? We both know there's no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree then that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new guardians can be born.
Pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
Damn. The writing in this game is unbelievably good. That is utterly bananas how good not only that performance was, but that monologue was just so crazy good. Holy smokes. What the fuck, man? Why don't we get shit like that more often? That was crazy. One thing I wanted to say is this area looks a lot like Ocarina of Time. Not visually, like fidelity-wise, but like it looks like Kokiri Forest, right? Like, look at the environment, look at the little green orbs floating around, especially in the PS2 form, look at the model quality. Like, it really hammers home just how much of a Zelda game these games are in terms of structure. Man, fuck, that was good dialogue.
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them.
Man. I don't know if... I think Raziel and Kain's voice actors are still alive. Granted, I think they're pretty old now at this point. Easily well into their 60s or 70s, I think. Go Spectral. Why do I have to go Spectral? Oh, it's a staircase. Yeah, I don't know how old they are. But, man, what I wouldn't give for one more performance of these two. Holy smokes. That's wild. Can you imagine these performances in like with the Last of Us 2 graphics? Like what the hell, man? Wow. Jeez. What a wild video game.
From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here. From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold.
In the beginning of Soul Reaver 1, they mentioned that over time vampires became more divine. Is that a depiction of an angel? Is that what Raziel ultimately looks like now? Is an angel? It's like prophecy becoming itself. Is him going back in time influence for religion to the point that they believe angels are these blue things when really he's just a vampire wraith? Bask says, how far into the series did I get back in the day? I played all the way through Defiance, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember any details about it, basically at all. So I don't remember basically anything. The only games in the series I hadn't played, I guess, or hadn't finished, I should say. I hadn't finished Blood Omen 1. I think I played it for like an hour as a kid on an old PC. And Soul Reaver 1, I never finished, I don't think, as a kid. But this game was a rental game for me. I rented it like 2 or 3 times in a row to finish it. And Defiance I rented basically the day it came out, and then I never played Blood Omen 2.
As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel.
Ah. The Elder God.
Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. Your silence was refreshing, but it lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here?
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed. Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Kain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. I merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my Soul Reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast, end the vampire's parasitic curse, and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die for condemning me to this repugnant form, but if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse, and after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Rishin says, wait, didn't the Elder God say that Raziel would be beyond its reach after passing through the portal? So what he said in the first game was implying that, like, he said, like, the place you're going, like, I won't be able to speak to you. Like, he'll be beyond him. But, like, here, we had to come to this location to talk to the Elder God. The Elder God isn't in Raziel's head anymore. It isn't purely omniscient like it was in the future. Because remember, that's the future from this setting. So whereas here, Raziel had to come to this location to find him and speak with him. And yes, I think Rishin says other way around then, those murals would imply vampires are degraded angels. Yes, I think that is what this is implying. So they fought a war of some kind against whatever those monster things are. They erected the pillars which cast all of those things down. Those things down there look like vampires too, though. And then, as a result, maybe they were infected with vampirism. The angels were infected with vampirism. And they found the Soul Reaver, maybe? No, they used the Soul Reaver for something. And they had wings. Maybe Kain killed Raziel because he was turning back into one of those things. Like he was a more pure vampire than him. I don't know. Whereas Kain had like a different form because he was raised like via necromancy or whatever by Mortanius. I'm not sure. That's really interesting. I'm not really sure what to think about that. So where do we want to go from here? I guess this must be... Yeah, so this is the Elder God.
Carefully, Raziel.
Trait carefully. Shouldn't it be tread carefully? Alright. One of the things that I'm enjoying about this series is just how many conflicting groups there are. like the Elder God, Raziel, Kain, Mobius, like everyone has like completely different goals. And none of them are actually aligned. What is this place? I wonder what the underwater looks like in the old vision. Not that different. Neat. I didn't know if there was going to be like a filter difference. We haven't found any like heart pieces or anything yet. I wonder if they're in this game. They don't seem to show up when I am looking at the menu, so maybe not. Maybe upgrades are a little bit more static in Soul Reaver 2. My health is like really draining. They must really want you to be using the Soul Reaver at all times to just keep it fed. Here we go. Back to full HP. That was a weird magnetic latch to that. That was annoying. Huh. I am not 100% sure on where I'm going exactly. Guess we'll check out here. There isn't really much here for me. Oh, I guess I can just go up, right? But I mean, ultimately, why would I? There's nothing there. Alright. I probably do have to go somewhere over here. I see. Well, no, this is where I was before. Aha! Up. We had to go up. Oop. Alright, we made it through. Yeah, my health drains at a shocking rate. Is this Vorador Swamp?
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
Yeah, this is Termagant Forest, I think. Right? That was that place's name? Alright, we gotta eat some souls.
Die, fiend!
Morning, Kyoko Puffs. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's Vorador. Interesting.
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered, but I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first, I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
It's really cool to revisit these areas from Blood Omen. Whoa, I just obliterated her. I want to see what happens when we max out the Soul Reaver gauge, because I'm trying to understand how exactly the health mechanic works. Let's figure that out. Are there no other enemies around here for me? Okay, there's one over there. Let's see if we can max it out. It's getting pretty close to max. There was a save point I should go back to as well.
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
Seize him!
Okay. Snag him. Drinky. Let's run back to that save point real quick. Haley says, holy crap, Toaster, I've barely woken up. I mean, this was not on purpose. I woke up very early in the morning, just coincidentally. Like, I went to bed. Me and Brewing watched... Brewing is trying to get into Dimension 20 because I like it a lot, and he hasn't watched it. And he's trying to get into actual play content. So we were laying in our bedroom just watching it, and we ended up going to sleep at like 8:30 p.m. And I had like a migraine, so I was just like not feeling great. But yeah, I woke up at like 1:45 in the morning on the dot. And I'm wide awake. Like, I just feel fully rested and couldn't get back to sleep. So that's what my day's starting like. We'll continue doing this.